this channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
It is that time of the year, guys. NFL Week 1 is here. Best time of the year, right? How can you complain or argue about that? I'm back home after a nice week in sunny California, San Diego, to be exact. Got some time to relax before a busy NFL season. Got to go to San Diego State game. That was fun. First college game, actually, that I went to. They blew off the doors against Stony Brook, 42-0. Actually didn't even stay for the full game, but it was a great experience and a great sunny day as well in San Diego. Back in the Circa contest, guys. Another year for the Circa contest for myself. Last year didn't go so well. Year before did well. Went deep in the Survivor. We're in the Survivor pools once again. And the spreads contest, Circa Millions. So back in that, I'll keep you guys updated on the podcast every week. Future market bets are now available. Now, there's 4 best bets pending for clients. It's already released. That's the highest I've ever had for best bets in a futures market. I think 2 was the most before. So that is available now. Go to the website, go to my link.me as well. And you can get that there if you want my best bets, right? If not, if you want to listen to the podcast, there is AFC future market that I released already. So a bunch of free picks there. Go listen to that if you haven't already. That is available on all platforms. Week 1 bets are already coming out, guys. I already like a few bets. It's going to be lower volume for week 1. I can't stress that enough. Right? The books really don't know what to do with the lines. So lines, are can be all over the place. You're going to look back at week 1 after it's done and be like, why was this team favored by this much, right? Why was the total this high? So there is some volatility on the lines in week 1. I usually have a smaller betting card. I usually stay away from teasers because the lines aren't that sharp. And I usually stay away from player props. I will take a look at the player props on Friday or Saturday. Usually they come out Thursday, Friday on most books. Most books it's Friday, even some Saturday. So I'll look at them. But again, it's week 1, guys. Let's not get too excited. Just to get some bets out there, right? Discipline handicapping is how you beat the sports books long term. That's what I have done for the past 10 years, 6 years documented. Every year we've been profitable in the NFL. Systemsportscapping.com or link.me/systemcapping for client opportunities. You get the resume over there, records, client comments, and more. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify audio, please give a review. It would help a lot. Share it as well if you know some of your friends that like the NFL sports betting market. I believe this is a great podcast to listen to every week. And of course, YouTube, the OGs over on YouTube or even new YouTube viewers, please give it a like or comment. It does help out a ton. Similar format, guys, as last year, right? We'll talk the big games. The Monday night game, we talk every week, no matter what the game is. So we talk the 2 big games on Sunday, and then the Monday game we talk about as well, no matter what the game is. Okay, that is also the teaser, right? We give the teaser options, best teasers, my favorite teasers of the week. Again, week 1, I usually stay away for clients, but I will give out my teaser plays on the podcast here. And underdogs, let's talk those underdogs. Upset alert. Who is on upset alert this week? We will talk about that and review the teams that I believe can find a plus money winner. We do well on these guys every year, so hopefully you have been tailing. This week, we're going to talk about the Ravens at Bills. Biggest game on the board, right? Can't argue that. It's a Sunday night game. We got Lions versus Packers, another big one in that division early on. Like always, the Monday night game, like I mentioned, and it is the Vikings at Bears. Another good, important game in that division. Week 1, guys, can be tricky. I like to avoid big cards and higher units. Teams that come out fast. So let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at teams that come out fast over the last 10 years. And no surprise, the Chiefs 9-1, guys, in the last 10 years, week 1. Eagles 8-2. Packers 7-3, Rams 7-3, Ravens 7-3. What have all these teams have in common? Good coaching, right? Their team is ready for week one because of their coaching. Of course, the teams are solid veteran guys, solid rosters as well. But the coach, if you look at maybe the Packers, you can argue, right? Some people are not as high on the Packers coaching as others, but hey, that's what these 5 teams have in common. And that's why they start well, right? A couple of other tips here, guys. I like to attack unders. I like to attack unders in week one. I think offenses take a little more time to gel, especially QBs that don't play at all. Remember, a lot of these QBs coming into this week don't play football all preseason long, just in practice. So they could come out slow. Second half, maybe a little quicker. First half unders are something you want to look at. I'll have at least one client bet as an under first half. I'm already eyeing that. So keep that in mind. Unders, I like more in the week one, even early in the season, right? Let the offenses gel and get ready. Obviously, look at injury reports as well. Let's get right into it, guys. Let's get right into the breakdowns. We're going to break down first the Lions at Packers. Packers -2.5, a total 47.5. Tough game. Not going to make my client card as of right now. Things can't change, right? It's only Wednesday. Things can change Friday, Saturday. I can get some new information that pops up. Maybe some line movement that I like as well. I'm always monitoring the lines, guys. Second best game on the schedule, right? Besides the Buffalo Bills and the Raven games, 2 teams will be battling out, in my opinion, for the division all season. All season, these 2 are going to be battling to win the division. With the Vikings not too far behind as well. So I think it's going to be a 3-team race. Chicago, I don't think it's going to be a bad team. Right? They're not going to be a bad team, but they're not going to have, division title hopes this year at least. A very difficult handicap for week one in this game. Which team is going to be more prepared out of the gate? That's the big question here, right? Obviously, this Packers team got better, a lot better by adding Parsons to that defense. They went all in with this, right? A couple draft picks gave away. Good defensive linemen as well. How will that affect their run game? Time will tell. We still aren't 100% sure how healthy Parsons is for this game and how quickly is he going to get used to this scheme at the defense runs, right? How effective is he going to play? How much is he going to play? Is he just going to get thrown in? He's that good to just get thrown in, right? And rushing the passer doesn't take, a ton of practice, you can say. But, knowing the plays that the Packers, run and all that, that could take some time. He's only had a week of training camp here this week. So that's going to be interesting to see how much he plays and, does it affect their depth there at linebacker and how much does it affect the defense, getting up to speed. It'd be interesting. That's one thing that you really don't know, right? Remember, he had that back issue. He says he's fine. Said he's going to play week one, probably just take a shot and get out there. But definitely monitor that, guys. Definitely monitor that. And that's what has me, kind of staying away from this game from a client aspect due to the unknowns there with the Parsons and how ready that defense is. Obviously, there's some changes there. Packers, week one, last 10 years, 7-3. Impressive record, and they're at home, right? We like to bet the Packers when they're at home. Lions, 4-1. That could be wrong because it's missing one, but around 500. This Lions team has been in the last 10 years, so they don't necessarily start well. Lions 11-9 last 10 years, and they do hold this series battle. So it's back and forth between these two guys. 11-9 is not a drastic difference, right? Lions have won both games last year. That's worth mentioning. Lions won both of them last year. Goff hasn't played in all of preseason, and Love also, he has a thumb issue too. He might come out with a cast or some sort of protecting on that thumb. Look out for that. He did have surgery. Goff also had some injuries as well over the offseason he was dealing with. Both seem to be fine for week one. I don't have any concerns there for them playing. I'm going to lean the Packers here for podcast purposes. You lay the -2.5. I usually do that, guys. Now, the difference from, laying the -2.5 and -110 and then the money line, what, -150 probably, -145. The odds of it landing between that 1 and 2, it's low, right? It's low that a team wins by 1 or 2. So I have enough value and enough confidence to lay -2.5 in most games. Now, there are some games that, teams win by, there's more teams. I forget what team was it. I think it was Atlanta Falcons that won like 4 games by one score. Sorry, 1 point. So those type of situations you may want to look at, right? Some teams may go for 2 more. Some teams may miss field goals at an alarming rate. So you want to look at that at past history here. I'm okay laying the 2.5 if I were to bet the side here. Total's tough. Total's tough. You don't know how the teams are going to come out of the gate. I would lean the over because we know from future games in the past, both teams could score. But it's week 1. Offenses may start slow. Keep that in mind. Ravens at Bills. It's about a pick 'em, guys. Pick 'em out there. You can get some minus. I see a -1.5 Bills with juice, obviously, to the Ravens. Total 50.5. It was 51, open up 51.5. People are betting the under. I do like the under as well, especially that 51.5. I do like that to go under. I expect both these defenses obviously to come out strong. Maybe the offenses to slow down. Allen and Jackson did not play at all in the preseason. So it could take some time to gel, right? And that's what I mentioned, that under first half, you may like more than total, right? First half could be slow. Second half, the offenses could gel and adapt at the half. Both defenses solid, right? Ravens, I believe, have the best secondary and D on paper. Defenses usually are ahead of the offensive in week 1, so look out for that, guys. Right, that's why I'm leaning the under here. First half, haven't got to the total team totals you may want to look at as well, but I haven't got to a full game total on this one as of yet. The case for the Ravens here, which I am going to be leaning with the Ravens to win this game, it's a good revenge spot for them, right? The last team they played were the Bills. And they lost to them in the playoffs due to a dropped 2-point conversion by Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is going to be ready for this game. No Isaiah Likely. That's a loss for this Ravens offense. But Mark Andrews will be up for this. I expect a decent game from him. Right? 5 catches, maybe 4 catches, 50, 60 yards, maybe a touchdown thrown in there. I expect him to be active in this game. And he is reliable besides that one catch in the cold and the rain, guys, right? I'm not going to, fault him too much, even though he should have caught it at the end of the day and would have been overtime. Ravens would have won the game. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about this year. I expect Andrews to have a good year, especially when Isaiah Likely is out. 7-3 last year. Last 10 years for the Ravens in week 1. Keep in mind that. A little longer term, 11-6 for the Ravens in week 1. Harbaugh always has his team ready. And you can tell from the preseason, right? They always win preseason games. Right? One of the best preseason records long term is the Baltimore Ravens. And multiple reasons for that. 1, the coaching. But 2, they're very deep. Very deep, guys. They draft really well. So they are a good week 1 team to back. I think Bills last 10 years about even. So that is another angle to look at here. Now, going to the Buffalo side here, Buffalo did win the last 2 meetings in Buffalo. That's worth mentioning, guys. However, I do have to put a caveat on it. Both games were in January, in the cold and rain in that one playoff game. It's going to be sunny. It's going to be warm, right? So the weather is not going to be an issue. There goes the Bills' main factor when playing at home. Their main advantage is it's cold, right? In Buffalo, you can't really say the fans. It's a very slight handicap for me when I look at like home fans. Yes, Bills Mafia is crazy, but how much do I factor that into my handicap? Not a ton, guys. I'm not worried about Baltimore playing on the road. It's not something I worry about. Now, when I look at road, factors into my handicap, it's rookie QBs on the road, big avoidance. Avoid that. Teams that just play bad on the road. There are teams that do that don't play good on the road. So yes, I do factor it in. I'm not worried about that here in the Ravens. Another tough game to predict, right? I'm not going all in on the Ravens here, and maybe a smaller unit bet here to open up the week for myself and clients. It is going to be the podcast play, so Ravens, and I'm going to look at the under. Probably like the first half under a little better. Just don't hope for like a defensive touchdown early or something, right? That could ruin it. Expect a lot of running, right? Cook to run the ball a lot. Derrick Henry run the ball a lot. Lamar obviously could slow down the game. Baltimore's going to want to run the ball a lot here to get going on the road. So I expect, it to start slow. Could open up more in the second half. This could be the AFC Finals, guys. Exciting week 1 game. You can't get much better than this. I can't wait for this one. Let's go to the Monday Nighter. Vikings -1.5 versus Bears. Total 44.5. Another good early divisional game. Another game that's not easy to handicap, guys, but we'll look at it. Both teams I expect to be better this year, and it's hard to say that after Minnesota won 14 wins, but it was probably the worst 14-win team ever, right? They lost in the playoffs right away, right? I expected that. Sam Darnold was leading the way, and surprisingly, I'm very high on J.J. McCarthy. I believe he's an upgrade from Sam Darnold, even at 22. Right? They added Thielen. Their weapons are there. This is the best receiving core from tight end to depth and receiving, in my opinion. And adding Thielen just adds that veteran guy that's going to catch the ball for you in big plays and, make timely catches. Don't forget TJ Hawkinson, one of the best tight ends in the NFL. So weapons are all around them, and they have a deep run game as well with 2 legit guys. So I'm high on this Vikings team. They are going to be the play -1.5. Again, this is where I'm looking at my logic and saying, you can technically say this is J.J. McCarthy's. It is his sophomore season technically, but it's his rookie because he was hurt all last year. So this is kind of his first road game on Monday night in a big spot. Caleb's already been there, right? So can't get there for clients on this one. Vikings -1.5 will be the lean. I just believe they have a much better defense. Much more talented team as well. Better coach team. I think the Vikings are just better everywhere. However, it's a tough spot week 1 on the road in Chicago with technically the rookie QB, J.J. McCarthy. So keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. That's why I'm seeing this line here. They don't really know what to do with it. The books, total 44.5. I would lean the over, but I'm not getting there either. Very difficult game to handicap. But I expect the Bears to be better. Caleb Williams, not a great rookie season, but not terrible. His O-line struggled. They did improve that O-line. Actually, both teams improved the O-line over the offseason. That's going to be something to watch. There are a few questions with the Vikings. We're going to want to watch that early on the O-line. Couple new guys in there. Same with the Bears. Couple new guys on that O-line. They obviously added weapons. I love Loveland, a tight end they added. Expect him to be active and busy as well. So both teams actually have O-line questions that I'll be watching in this game. See how much it affects the quarterbacks and for them time to throw. Williams needs time to throw for that offense to get going. I'm not thrilled with the run game. I don't think Swift is a legit RB1. And he's going to be carrying the load. Is he going to be able to carry the load this year? We've seen him had some good seasons, but I'm not sold on him with a third down, 3 down back. I like him more as a change of pace guy, and I think that's where he does better. Vikings have owned the Bears, guys, 7-1 in the last 8 and won both last year. 4 of the last 5 games went under. Keep that in mind in this battle. 44.5. It's tough to get to under on a 44.5, even though I would lean that way. I would lean the under here in this game. Scrap the over that I leaned a little earlier. It's just a tough number. 44.5 is kind of, when they don't really know what to do with, they put 44.5, 45.5. You'll see books do that. They'll kind of put it in the middle, kind of get money on both sides to kind of cover themselves. So I think that's what they're kind of doing here. Again, no client plays here, but I'm going to lean the 44.5 and Vikings -1 to get the road win. Teaser. It's another profitable year with the teaser market. Every year It's probable some better years than others, of course, but we always find profit in the teaser market. I always advise never have large units on teasers and don't make it a primary focus. I don't usually have week one teasers because the lines, I believe, are still volatile. Best time to play teasers is when the lines are sharper. Favorite teams that I like this week for a teaser, 6 point teaser. I always suggest to do Broncos -1.5. You can get them at expecting to win this game at home versus the rookie QB on the road. You want to play that 0-7 in the last type of situations for rookie QBs. Going to be tough to go into Denver against that defense and pull off a win with limited weapons. Ward in his debut for the Titans. You can also look at Arizona just to win the game against the Saints. I have Saints power ranked as my worst team, and I have the Arizona Cardinals battling for a wild card spot. I think they're a much improved team. I think Murray's going to have a better season if he can stay healthy. So those are the two that I would look at. Of course, other ones that you can look at, Washington just to win at home. That one I'm a little more worried about. Lines going from 6.5. Some sharp money came in -5.5 now down to Washington. You never know. It's week one, guys. You're going to see some upsets. Even like the Bengals at Cleveland, it's an option to just take the Bengals to win. However, I've been burned by the Bengals. And last year I was burned by the Bengals losing. Who was it against? I forget who was it against. I lost to an easy team, and it was a survivor loss for me. So I tried to stay away from Bengals early in the season, even though I'm high on that offense. You want to play their team total over due to that offense playing all preseason. They're going to be the best offense probably all year, to be honest, but definitely early out of the gate. Underdog options this week to look at. We always do well on these. Profit every year. Plus money underdogs is what we want to look at for this one. And there are some live dogs this week. Texans is one of them. It is on the road, so I don't love it as much. Lions as well. They could obviously go into Green Bay and win that game. There are some question marks early in the season for Green Bay. Keep that in mind. And then the Falcons at home over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Huge game in that division early on. I think the Falcons, you can get that like plus 140 out there, guys. I think the Bucs do regress a little bit this year. Falcons take a step forward. So those are some underdogs I'll be looking at this week. At least one of them will make my client card. That will do it, guys. That will do it. It's an exciting time of the year. We're going to have a UFC pod out tomorrow as well. It's a busy time for me. More clients obviously get on board due to the NFL season. And then, of course, the PGA continues to roll out. The UFC is every weekend, so I stay busy. If you like volume, best time to get on board to profit against the sports books. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Enjoy week one.